I've never seen it come over the A470, and I've lived in Llandinam all my life, 41 years, I've never seen it that high.
We've been here 10 years and I've never seen it quite so high. Yeah, so we're very lucky that it actually didn't come in, because it does cause a lot of damage.
Completely devastating. I can't explain that. It's awful to see all your possessions or what you've worked for, everything just thrown away. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. Trying to find somewhere to live while all this dries out and whatever, and then after spending all the money and getting it done, there's the fear that it could easily happen again.
I'd been watching the river all afternoon coming down and checking on the river, and I could see every time I came down the river was higher. So I was here when the actual river flooded, and it came up into the house 2 foot deep within seconds. And I, myself and a neighbour's son, carried my mother to where my car was outside, and we put her in the car and took her to my house in Llandinam. Yeah.
I was on my own in the kitchen, and the water was rising rather quicker than I thought it would. My back doorbell went, and I went as quick as you can walk in rising water. Passing the shower room, I noticed that the water was pumping up from the drain outside.
And we've advised them over the years, and to how can I say, to deal with say a dredging side of it, where they could dredge the river, deepen the river, and bank it so it'd make us reasonably safe. But they reckon that it'll upset the wildlife area, and this is what we keep having a problem with all the time.
That the last private landowner put some very, very, very good correction methods in, and he would nudge it after every storm and kept it in its course. But unfortunately, nothing absolutely happens, and you can see all from Niall Lloyd to the village exactly what's happened, and it's just going to be a major problem now.
We've spoken to Russell George, our AM, this morning, and I understand that he was going to write to the NRW?
That is correct. He is putting an email together where he's going to be contacting NRW to get the basis of what their take on this flooding.
Back in February, the 20th February specifically, there were significant flooding events in my own constituency, particularly in Llandinam, Llandrinio, Portkey. When land is affected and flooded, there's caused great distress, even greater distress when people's homes are flooded, as is what happened on that day. My concern, First Minister, is that commitments were made to local county councillors, myself and residents 2 years ago by Natural Resources Wales, and that work hadn't been undertaken. And of course residents fear that they'll now carry out refurbishment works to their properties that I visited myself recently, only then to be flooded in another 2 years or at a future event. So can I ask, First Minister, that the funding that you've talked about today, which I very much welcome, that priority is given to projects that have already been put in place and previously discussed, and that's where the priority lies for that particular funding. Also, First Minister, when flooding occurrences took place in other parts of Wales 2 years ago, there was compensation for households at the rate of £1,000 per household. That same compensation is not available this time when those flooding events took place significantly in mid-Wales. So can I ask you why that is the case, and can that policy position change? Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer.
Since I needed to travel through the members' constituency in just a few days after the flooding of the 20th of February, was able to see for myself the scale of it and the impact that it had on communities in his constituency. So, I absolutely understand why he raises these points on the floor of the Senedd this afternoon. As I said, the Welsh Government has provided funding directly to both Powys County Council to help with the development of schemes and NRW to help with the practical implementation of those schemes. And there are, as the member says, plans for construction works at Llandinam, for example, but in other parts of the member's constituency as well. And I'm very happy to take up with the minister responsible the need to make sure that those works are carried out in as timely a fashion as possible. The member is right, of course, that when we had residential flooding on a significant scale a couple of years ago, we responded to that scale by providing £1,000 to households who were affected. The scale of flooding, I know if it's you, it's 100%. But the numbers involved in the flooding event of the 20th of February were not of the same order. Those who are affected are able to apply for help from the Discretionary Assistance Fund. And the member will know that we have significantly increased the resources available to that fund in the current financial year, and again in the year that starts in April, and where people are able to qualify for that fund, then the impact of flooding is one of the things that they are able to go to the fund and seek help.
I thank the First Minister.
We obviously had reassurances from the First Minister that works will be underway in a timely fashion, and that's thanks to the hard work of Russell George MS, who's with me here today.
Thank you, Carl. What we have had is a commitment from NRW in the past that works would be undertaken, and that's not come to pass. Now we know that the significant flooding issues would have unlikely have occurred had that works that have been promised in the past been undertaken. So this is why I raised it on the floor of the Senedd. I certainly thank Councillor Carl Lewis for his continual commitment to press for works to be done, but we've now had that commitment from the First Minister of Wales, and now he'll be held to account on that along with NRW. And I think it's important that we allow NRW to get on with that work, but at the same time keep myself and Carl Lewis advised on what their plans are, because Carl, of course, will have a lot of local knowledge, and that's exactly what they need to be aware of before that works now eventually are undertaken.